and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello. Hello. Sorry, I made you pause there for a little bit on my end screen. I was threading my serger, and you know how I feel about threading on camera. It went faster because I wasn't visible. Nice, Margaret. That's awesome. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Shem. How are you all? I realized I didn't kind of study the directions on this, and that I don't get to do French seams. Hi, Sue. Welcome. So let's check it out. Let's check out this placket, because I think I know how I would sew it, but let's see how they want me to sew it, because, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I think that this way is pretty easy. All right, cool. So I didn't finish fitting the sleeve yesterday, and as soon as I got off camera, I knew once I got off camera, I'd be like, oh, I know what to do. Remember how I was saying that my cross shoulder looked a little too wide? That's what was the issue. So what I had needed to do, in fact, let me show you. I got it right here. All right, so I cut out. Can I lower this? Let me swap places with her. Okay. Let's you thought, oh yeah, sorry guys. It was going, the threading was going well, and then the thread went like under the foot. I was like, why are you doing that? It's because you know I'm live right now. And I was like, you should just put the camera on. Then I was like, no, I'm almost done. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Okay. All right, so all right, so I tried on what I had done yesterday, okay? And it wasn't was pretty good actually. I had a little extra in the sleeve, remember the sleeve length, and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get the whole thing in. So what I did was, I did get it in, but I was like, that's too much. Can you see how the sleeve is at this angle right here? So that tells me that I need more height at the cap, right? So if I unpick the seam like right here and pull it down, let the sleeve hang a little better like that, you know, and then it looks a little more natural, right? Rather than being hiked up like this. You'll also see like drag lines pointing at the top here, right? So this is a pretty easy fix. So I pulled that out. And the other thing that I noticed was that because it was still hanging off of my shoulder, what I did was I took 3/8 of an inch all the way around the armhole. I just sacrificed some of the underarm height. And let's see. Let me pull this away here. So I trimmed off 3/8 of an inch around the armhole on the garment. And then what that did was it pulled the shoulder closer to me, right? It less hanging off of the end of my shoulder. And it opened up my armhole. So that's going to take up some of that length. Remember, I had my sleeve cap was too long and I needed a larger armhole because I didn't really want the sleeve to get too small. I have my sloper sleeve to go, okay, I know this fits really good, so I don't really want it to be too different than this. So I did that, and once I tried it on, I realized, okay, it needs cap height. So I sliced across the cap right there, and then I raise it up. And then I checked all the measurements, and now I'm like 1 1/4 of an inch ease. So it worked out just right. Once I got that position of the armhole correct, and it was the right diameter, that helped a lot. And I think I scooped it a tiny bit more out on the back armhole. So there we go. We're set. I cut the sleeves out. It'll be fine. All right, so let me move my camera back. So I'm sorry I didn't figure that out yesterday. I don't know why. I was just kind of puzzled by the what was I puzzled by? There was something I was kind of like, huh. So, you get that a lot, Shem? Yeah, I think we've talked about that a bunch with your sleeves. Hi, Amy. Hi, Donna. Hi. And hi, Julie. Hi, Terry. How's it going? All right, so here we are at our bodice. You don't understand? Well, remember how my sleeve was, it was too long, so this seam, like if you were just to measure the length of this seam, going into the armhole, it measured 2 5/8 inch over the seam it needed to sew into. It's okay if it's 1 1/2 inches larger. That's my ideal amount difference. I like the sleeve to be larger because then you can get that a lot more ease in there, more comfort. I needed to get rid of a lot of that. And so by making the armhole, so taking this armhole here, and I made like a parallel line here, 3/8 of an inch all the way around, and cut that off. So if you were to measure the original seam line, which was actually this line right here, because it was over here, and then measure the new seam line's longer, and it's going to take up a lot of that extra length. And that also put my shoulder closer this way because it was just too long. It was hanging off the ends of my shoulder. And so that's why I was a little bit like, why does this look so, why is this sleeve so big when I know my armhole is about right? And it's because it just wasn't in the right place. It just needed to be pulled in. So, and there's the whole sleeve skill building session is helpful. The other thing I forgot to do was my dart. I already drilled it, so we're just going to keep the old dart. Remember, I made it a little bit longer. I could probably make it a little longer. It wasn't on this one, though. It was on this one here, right? We pinned out a longer dart. I could probably do that. Where's my little ruler? So if I pinned out this dart here, and it's more like 5.5 inches long. So let's see if I can kind of, so it'd be more like right here. We'll just move the vanishing point over. Yeah, no worries, Julie. I know, it's really hard. It's a little out of context. I'm really eyeballing it, aren't I? But we'll put that right. My thumb doesn't let me push pins in very well right now. My poor thumb. All right, so let's do the front bodice first. We have all of our tucks just ironed. So if you missed the cutting stream, when you have to sew tucks like this, what I do, and I find it a lot easier, is I just iron the center of the tuck. And so now all I have to do is put it under my machine like this and use this as the edge for the guide for the seam allowance, right? So it makes it a lot less confusing. As long as you make sure your iron lines are parallel, you know, and parallel to center front, so you don't have any crazy angles happening, or, you know, you don't want them to get off, because no matter how good you are at sewing these, they are kind of hard to keep nice and parallel. These are pretty big tucks. So for better or worse, like, I feel like that can make it a little easier, but it can also make it a little harder. So it just depends. Yeah, and I can't, let's see, I said my tucks were 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, so, and the pins down here are just denote the bottom of it, and I'm just going to take them out. I feel like the other thing you can do, in fact, let's go do this, is iron across. So what I'll do is I connect all the bottoms of the, I can still see my pinholes like this, and I'll iron across that. Let's just put, this is our placket. We'll just let this release a little bit, like that. We don't want to lose it. There we go. Make sure your pins are ironable. Hi, Nathmy, how's it going? Welcome in. Today's the fun part, right? All right, so I can see where my pinholes are across the bottom. And I'm just going to do like a light ironing, like, don't go overboard here. You don't need to, you know. We're just trying to make our, know where our stopping point is for our tucks. That's all. And if you want to make sure it's symmetrical, you can go like this. Go, oh, okay. Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. And now I'm just going to go like this. So you can do this when you're putting in your fold lines there, and then that way you can just get rid of all the pins. And it helps. Because if you're doing really narrow tucks, you have all these little cuts, right? You have all your cuts at the top and pins at the bottom, and oh my gosh, it's so easy to mistake the pin for the next tuck over. And then you have diagonal tucks and you're like, wait a minute, why do I only have one pin at the end? I need two, you know, so you don't want that to happen. All right, so the other thing I'm going to consider is the fact that the tucks are going to be pressed away from center front. Oh, I didn't change my thread color. And I put all 4 spools of pink on my serger. Is this too dark? Ooh, this looks like it's in the same realm. It's kind of dark though. Dang, I hope I don't have to wind a bobbin. Ugh. That would be the worst. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if I have enough. Oh, this one looks really good. That looks really good. Better this one. Maybe this one here. This one's a little bubble gummy. This one's kind of lavender. I love the dusky color of this though. Like it's a good color. Let's see what my bobbin situation is. Ooh, I have this. Oh, this color. Oh, what was this on? What? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. What's this from? Is this my, oh, that's my cone thread. I might just steal the cone thread so I don't have to wind bobbin. That's what we'll do. That makes it a little easier. Do you, Shem? I feel like I've had that big spool for so long. All right, we're gonna steal the loop or cone, because then I don't have to thread a needle to rethread it. So don't let me forget that. We'll use this. This works really good. This dusky pink, like this kind of pale dusky pink serger thread has come in handy so many times. It's kind of a chameleon in a way, you know what I mean? This works really good though. Like that actually matches really good. I feel like this has a little bit more like gray or blue in it, and this has a little bit more red in it. Don't trust me though, I'm really terrible at color stuff like that. Color theory was my hardest class at fashion school, mainly because there was so much painting and X-Acto knife and rubber cement. Oh my gosh. Now I bet they do it, you know, digitally. Back in my day, we had to paint so many chips. All right. Okay. Now we're ready. Should we do our darts first? Maybe we'll do our darts so I don't lose my pin. That would be smart. Are you guys doing anything today? Are you guys sewing? I shared the inside view of my Crustin jeans today on Instagram just because they're so fun to see. And you know what? When I when I opened them up to take a picture, I totally forgot to overlock one whole yoke seam. And I didn't even know it until today. So when I recorded that video, I did it a little differently because usually I like to show sewing the left and the right and I usually record both the left and the right. And I do this because almost every single time I go from the left to the right, something else pops up or something happens and I can use it. You know, I can use that as like a information or teaching moment, or go, oh yeah, see, this could happen. I knew those jeans were going to be a really big, like heavy video thing. And so I'm on a basting stitch. I only recorded the left or the right of the step. And so when I was doing the yoke, I didn't even think about it. I was like, okay, now do the other side. And I did it off camera and yeah, forgot to overlock that. So funny. Oh, I bet, Beth. Work really cramps our style. You're putting shoulder pads in your jacket, Terry. Nice. You're sewing another Melody Dolman. Oh, cool. I feel like that's becoming your go-to, Amy. That's really awesome. Yeah, I feel like the Melody Dolman's really similar to the Deer and Doe Mellow blouse that I've made a few of. So I can totally see the appeal, you know? And I feel like that one was like $5 last Friday, right? On her deals. So hopefully other people picked it up too. Hi, Elena. How's it going? You're sewing piping to begin your bonnet. That is such a packed sentence of information. Yeah, exactly, Amy. Yeah. You're in bed, Donna. Yeah, well, you know, it's bedtime. So, waiting for your fabric. Oh, so you went with the Willowdale? Oh, you've got your Willowdale. Now you're waiting to do your final one. That's really cool. I need to clean my glasses. That made me nuts. This is the other thing I can barely do with my thumb is I cannot clean my glasses. I can rub my glasses against my thumb. All right. So we have our darts in. And I put them on the wrong side. How did I do it on the wrong side? I literally just repinned those. How did I do that on the wrong side? Because it's the beginning of the stream. That's how I did that on the wrong side. Holy. Well, off with a bang. At least with darts, there's only, for me, I only have one back stitch. Jeez Louise. I thought that I just switched this pin to the wrong side, but maybe they were already correct. Now I don't need a pin. I know it is hard to see the right and wrong side of this fabric, but you know, there's all these iron lines, so there's really no excuse for me. That's exactly it, Terry. I really should do something off camera to warm up. You know? I think like I would never have been that person to be like, you should warm up before you do anything, even before like, well, I do think when you're doing exercises, I've definitely noticed like if I don't warm up, like I'm definitely gonna notice like something might happen. But, you know, if I'm doing other like low risk things, I'm not going to worry about it. I do notice when I am sewing, if I warm up, it's better. So, right, Shim? You will be proud of me, Shim. I cut out all the rest of my gift bags yesterday. A lot of them are already cut. They just needed lining. And I matched them all up. I've got a whole bin sitting here ready to go. I think that'd be kind of boring, though. People tune in and they're like, that is not what I came here for. But maybe I could start sewing them off camera. I cannot get the needle right on the tip there. I bet this vanishing point is going to be funky. Okay. What happened to the gift bags? I think mainly I've been sewing things that take up the whole time, Julie. And I've done a lot of things where we sew the whole thing in one stream, and then I'm just not up for sewing the gift bag at the end. I also haven't had many fabrics that would be suitable for it, but this one, yesterday I was like, oh, this is a suitable fabric for a gift bag because it's not a fashion fabric type of thing, you know, like rayon or something. So I was like, oh, okay, let's get the gift bag bin out. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've made a pledge that I would try and sew a gift bag every time I make a project. And I have been doing that. Like I will make 3. Sometimes when I just need something easy to do or I'm trying to kill an hour of time, I will do that. And that way by the end of the year, I will have a bunch of more gift bags. And I just plan on keep doing this so that my whole family will have like reusable bags. Guys, I hate wrapping things. I hate wrapping things so much. So that's just been my own little thing. And I'm trying to make a lot of them so that my family doesn't feel like they're precious and they're like, they gotta like not ever use them. You know what I mean? They're funky too. Like I'm using kind of a really interesting design. And I've put together, it was such a great stash busting thing. I want them to be kind of weird sometimes so that people are like, oh, I got the weird bag, you know. So anyway, that's my thing. That's what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to start this. This is when I realized I didn't have thread in my machine when I was telling you this. So because these tucks are going to get pressed this way, I'm going to sew this side of my garment. Here's my center front line right here. With the side of the tuck that will show, I'm going to sew that facing up. So if you have a machine that has nicer stitching, like between your upper or your bobbin, I would take that into consideration. For the bags, Shim, you think so? I'm not that great at that. Oh yeah, exactly, Terry. Yeah, and then once you have a bunch, right? You have a lot of pillowcases. It's great. All right, so I'm lining this up on my throat plate. I'm gonna try and be straight. If I iron straight, it's very easy to not iron straight. And this does feel a little bowed. And then I'm just gonna go down to this fold line and stop. And when we're done with all of our tucks, we're gonna sew across the bottom of each one. And then these will be really quick. They're only in the front too, but I wouldn't necessarily call this a coffin shirt because there is some back interest, thankfully. There's a little yoke and some gathers that fall from the back yoke. How many do we have on each side? I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So there's 10 total. These are 3/4 of an inch total. So when they're folded, they're 3/8 of an inch, which is 1 centimeter, right? I love this little line right here. It makes it a lot easier. I feel like a pin, I will jerk my fabric sometimes because I'll be like, oh, I need to, you know, let me put this pin back in actually. I need to get this pin out and I pull my work away a little bit and then I get it uneven, you know. I'm clearly not perfect. We all know this. You know, I think next year I'm going to have a class on how to draft my tuck top because I've gotten like 3 or 4 people asking me about it on Instagram, and I love that thing. So we really need to get this sloper thing going and get you guys all fitted with your slopers so that we can draft some really cute stuff that fits you perfectly, right? Hi, Sydney. How's it going? Okay, so now this time I would flip this over and sew them from the bottom up, as long as I don't torque, right? It's going to be okay. And then that way still the right side of my stitching is going to show. Let me get this a little folded a little nicer though. There we go. With my presser foot like kind of sitting back here, it was feeling a little like I might get a tuck or something. I'm definitely try-harding right now, just so you know. Oh, that's great, Sydney. We love that for you. It sounds like your work's been so stressful lately. I also think when you pre-iron your tuck, it's more apt to stay accurate. Because if you do it the other way where you're matching notches and drill holes, you do have the risk of torquing the tuck a little bit more. And we don't like torquing around here, do we? I probably need to change my needle. You just love it when it lands like right there. It's like, yeah, I got it. Over here, there was one I was like, ooh, I don't think I got that. One more, and then we get to iron it and see how it looks. This is probably a pretty fast top. Big bang for your buck with this one. Not too hard to sew. We could probably sew the whole thing today, to be honest, especially since we're not French seaming it. There are some crazy birds out here today. They are trying to do something. I don't know what they're doing. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to clean up some of these little threads down here. And we'll iron them. Looks good. Looks good. Here we go. There's another one. Do you guys get this little loop? My bobbin makes like a little loop sometimes. And then when I backstitch, like when I start, it makes a little loop. And when I end, I get these two tiny little threads. No loops on this side since they're going to be at the top. And I hope I backstitched up there. You definitely want to backstitch because, okay, yeah, I did. Because we're going to pull on it when we iron. It has been beyond, doesn't help that we are switching to a completely new dot. Oh, man. Yeah, right, Shin, that's smart to press the dart first. Oh yeah, system migration. I have to turn my thing here. Maybe if I move this like that. Okay, let's go to the iron. That little line drives me nuts, the top and the bottom. And this is as far as I can zoom it in. So thankfully my ironing board is pretty much the width of the full zoom. I'm going to do this from the neck. I'm going to like do this and then I'm going to go, whoop, hopefully. It's amazing like how it makes it a little bit like boingy, you know? Let's see, this one, the start goes down. Just gonna do the beginning part and then flip this over. There we go. What's that? All right, make sure we don't have any blumping over here. Little red dot I thought that was ink. I was a little nervous there. Giving me a heart attack. You can see there's my vanishing, my original drill hole there. It'll be fine. It won't fray or anything because it's a circle, which makes it all on the bias. But it'll be visible there. And you can see these on your ready to wear things. You'll see that little hole. Blumping. Yeah, we said just say no to blumping. I don't know what else to call it. Lapping over. Looks good. It's gonna look so cute under that assembly line cropped jacket I made. Remember that? So good. Did I do something to the side seam here? Like, why is that like off like that? It's definitely pressed the right way, because if I press it up, it goes like that. Hey Martina, how's it going? Well, I wouldn't necessarily call these pin tucks, but you know, they're tucks, right? Pin tucks are so pretty. All right, so now I want to decide, do I just go here or do I go all the way across? You know? You want to press your tuck down, and we're going to sew it down as well. What do you guys think? Should we start here and go all the way across and have like a row of stitching? Maybe not. Or maybe we'll just do the tuck. Hey Bonnie, how's it going? Yeah, you do. Maybe, Shem. I can't remember. Did I change the pattern though? It could be that I picked the wrong size dart shaping. Those lines were close together there. Oh man, I lost my threading. All right. We have pattern chatter tomorrow, huh? There's so many new patterns lately. All right, so I'm just gonna it seems like a lot of stitching for such a short little area, and my stitch length is just enough where I feel like it's it would put it into the middle of the next one. I keep forgetting, I've been experimenting with starting my back stitch. Like say, instead of starting my back stitch here at the beginning, starting it in the middle, going up to there, and then going to the end, and then going back to there. I feel like that, in some cases especially, I feel like this makes it cleaner. Oh, I did it again. It's such a habit. I mean, I've been doing that for 30 years, right? Let's start here. Back up to the starting point, now go forward. Why aren't you sewing? Well, it didn't start sewing right away. Because then you can kind of keep that back stitch right off the end, you know. Hi, Michelle, how's it going? All the way across, Mary. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that till just now. Yeah, right, Amy? I think that would be great. The packaging is really pretty, though. I will say that. Yeah, you might be right, Mary. I think it would have been less chunky. You know what I mean? Because right now we have these like back stitches right here. It's a lot of, like, look how clean this tuck stitch is. You can barely see it, right? And then we have this heavy back stitch right here. So I don't know if I would like the stitching in between, but I think my mind sees it anyway. Just try and get rid of some of these little strays. Make sure it's secure though, because this is so visible, you know? Like this one, look at that. That was not secure. It didn't go, it fell shy right there. What if instead you did some cute little, like, you, not me, a little embroidery stitch or something? Or even like a visible, like a sashiko stitch or something like across. That'd be kind of cute. You could, Terry, but then they might, you know, do this. See how they're lifting up over here? So it definitely gives it a different look. So here, I'll let you guys look at it so you can kind of decide what you would want to do. Let's put it on the dress form really quick. That way you can kind of see it. Because if you have some bumps there, you know, bumps. So this is the one I stitched down, this one here. So, you know, wait. Yeah, this is the one I stitched down. See, it definitely lays flatter. So as long as you're knowing what you're getting into, it does go below, like, well, here's the fullest part of my bust. That could be somewhere, you know, somewhere different on someone else. So, but the fold is kind of accentuating it, like that, my ironing fold. So there you go. There you go. Now you can make your choices. Ugh. I have unthreaded my needle again. Come on, Phoenix, behave. Because I do the most annoying thing ever when I go to thread something. I wrap it around my finger. And talk about a habit I haven't been able to break. Because then I got to like extricate my hand. Oops. Yeah, I agree, Julie. I was looking at the hashtag today. There's some really cute ones. There aren't very many short sleeve ones, so this makes me think that when this was released, it was cooler out. Look at that, it looks so good, huh? I like it. Oh, I gotta do these over here. Okay. Trying to start in the middle. I really wish I would just make it my stitch length a little bit shorter. That way I don't, I can go to the end there. Where's my, there we go. That one I forgot. Oh my goodness. Gotta take one stitch out on that one. One more. Okay. Yeah, this is, oh, I did not look up this fabric. I will try and link it in the description of the video today. I did update my website on Tuesday to reflect all the projects. And you'll notice I've been updating thumbnails. So if there's a video you've been watching and you're like, wait, that's not what it looked like last time. It's the same video. I just update the thumbnail to reflect the finished garment. Because I feel like that's kind of helpful to see what you're going to be making. And then all the projects we've made are on YouTube. This one's already on there. I'll try and also link the fabric there too. It's not, all the videos aren't linked there because we haven't done it yet. Okay, let's do the placket. Okay, let's see. Here's the placket. And then let's get the directions out, which I'm having trouble finding. They're right here. Yeah, that's why I say it's like pretty much a quick thing. Now all we have left is this popover placket and like a yoke seam with a few gathers and sleeves. So this is pretty quick. And I'm gonna read this so that I can make this part quick for you too. I know how to do it, but I just like to look. I'm always nervous about this type of stuff too. But yeah, we're gonna sew a box. We're gonna cut it with a Y. And this is right side up, like this. And so you fuse this side. So I was right, and so my fusing, you know, goes to the back of that, like that. They call it thermo. And then we do all our fancy folding. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, and then you do the dart. Okay, let's do this. But I just don't know what these pins are here. All right, I'm gonna get a marking utensil as well. Maybe we should, I get so nervous using markers, but that would be nice. Oh, the kick, not kick press, but your press does covered buttons too. That's pretty cool. You know what? We're going to use the Hera marker. That's what we're going to do. Oh, we can do it actually at the machine that way. We like the Hera marker. All right. So, oops, I keep moving that. I'm going to put this on here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? What I would recommend doing is printing 2 of these or photocopying it. And then you can cut out this box. I'm not going to because it's so big. But fold this along the box. So we're going to just fold it if you're not going to photocopy it. Like this. I think I can't use the Hera because we want this marked on the wrong side. If your fabric's kind of thick or crisp, you might be able to pass up the interfacing, but it does stabilize it. In fact, I would leave it because we're not stabilizing this here. All right, so, oh, I just folded that the wrong way because we're gonna mark it on the wrong side. So you can fold it the easier way with seeing it. So I'm just folding it and creating a box around the Y. See how there's the Y down here, right? So this right here, this box in the center. And then this way, when we lay this on here, you really don't want this to move. We can fold it back like that. And then use something to mark our box. You don't need to mark that on your shirt, and I don't recommend doing it because you'll never stack the 2 boxes perfectly. I want that parallel to that little edge there. That right on there. There we go. Can you see my blue box there? All right, and then let's find the center here. You can use the pattern piece. Just stacking my tucks right on top of each other. And I'm going to crease it. I'm getting rid of these pins. I don't really know what they're for. I don't think we really need them. So I'm looking at my fold, making sure that it's centered between my tucks here. And then now I'm going to center this box. And bring up your edges here all the way to the top. Oh, actually, you know what? We want to do this on the, yeah. We're doing it like this, yeah, okay. All right, and I'm gonna center my box down here over that crease line that I made as well. That looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna pin kind of around it just to hold it in place so it doesn't shift or anything. I do this so automatically now. I'm really second guessing myself, but oh, they do it the same way I do. That's why. Okay, cool. Nice. All right, because it's nice to go from the wrong side to the right side. Now we're just going to stitch around this box, and I think you should use a smaller stitch length. You can tell I'm using lighter weight thread today. In fact, let's change the needle because my needle right now is a size 16. It's a little, it's a little chunky for this fabric. I'll get a nicer stitch if I change the needle size because, you know, when you think about the needle hole and the size of the thread, you know, if you were to put a piece of string through a hole, you would, you know, like sewing, you would want the hole to fit the string, right? So making a hole the size for yarn when I'm using thread doesn't make sense. Not that I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean? Think about that. You don't want your thread kind of like wiggling around in there. It just looks, it makes the stitch sloppy. And I'm not even like the like person to go to for the cleanest, nicest stitching. But it also makes the thread, the eye of the needle much smaller. My foot's on the pedal right now, and so that I get so paranoid when it is that I won't move it at all. Was painful. All right. All right, so we're gonna stitch this box, and you just want to be precise here. You really want your two rows to be parallel to each other because this is the hole that you're gonna create for your placket, and it's nice when it's a very consistent hole. And we're gonna back stitch at the top. I did a much smaller stitch length. I'm gonna stop like a ½ inch away from this raw edge, like double this little distance here. That is just so close to that raw edge. The placket's plenty deep for me. So now I'm more looking at this row here, making sure that stays straight across. All right, we'll take our pins out, and then we get to cut. Make sure you're not cutting anything else, you know. And then cut into your corners. And I always flip over and look at the other side when I'm clipping things like welts and things, because it's far more visible. You see that? Ooh, those little stitches are so small and pretty. If I really can't get close to the corner, right now I have an issue with my thumb, so I'm not trusting it. I will put my seam ripper close to the corner, and then I just seam rip towards the Y, just to make sure I got it. That one's closer than it looks. Okay, all right, now let's go and iron. So we're gonna pull it to the right side. And when we do that, let's just press it a little bit. So let's just press this edge. It doesn't matter how you press it right now. We're just gonna press that seam. It'll be more receptive to finagling in a second. And then we'll do the bottom. Like that. And now we'll pull it to the right side. Like that. And you don't really want to iron this edge anymore, right? Because we need this to fold over and create a placket like that. And so now what you can do is fold this edge here if you want. This one right here, this long raw edge. And we're just going to edge stitch it down. So just pulling the placket away from the body like this, and we're just going to iron it under. I'm going to test it right now to see if I do this. I'm kind of surprised by the width of the opening down here. Why is it so wide? The placket's not wide enough for that. What the heck? Look at that. Like, it's supposed to go like this, right? And then this one goes over this one, but that's not wide enough. It's really narrow. It's going to create, I think, a tuck down there. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. This is how I can tell. So if I put it all flat like this, when you fold your placket like this, it should be the width of your rectangle. And you see that gap? That's what's making me nervous right now. So I'm going to make this seam allowance really small. And I'll look at the directions to see. There's really not many other ways you can sew this though. Like, there's really none. That you can't change this seam allowance here because it's not a seam allowance, it's cut there. All right, and then let's iron this side here. This is the under placket. It looks wider. All right, let's check it out. Let's get our bodice nice and straight. So if this is over like this, right, like that, you're gonna pull this whole thing to the front like that. All right, so we'll hold it like there. I'm just gonna pin it down as if it's sewn. And then this one is over it like this. It's kind of shy. Huh. Maybe there's supposed to be a tuck at the bottom. Weird. Let's check it. And I made the seam allowance on this 1/8 of an inch. So if we kept this nice and flat right here and we let this fold over, that's where it lands. So if I force it like this, which we're gonna kind of have to do, it might create a tuck at the bottom. I don't know though. That's, I did not expect that to happen. Huh. Why is it always us? You know, Sue, that's what I'm wondering now too. Did they? I didn't see another tuck at the bottom. I mean, they just have you sew a rectangle. They're not showing a tuck anywhere. And the placket goes below the tucks, like when it's finally stitched down, like it's way down here. All right, so let's stitch this one shut. We're gonna do the under placket first and see how the bottom is. It kind of folds on itself like that. See, that's normal, that's fine, okay? It might feel weird, so just pull your piece to the right side. So let's cover up that seam. I need really easy pins right now because of my thumb. I need really thin pins so that they pin easily. I can't push. All right, like that. These are good. These little silk pins. I don't like these pins usually, but they're saving me now. I'm going to do it across so we don't get any torquing. So just cover up that original seam like that. And we're just going to sew it down from the right side. I love that they did this all from the right side. Pull out the pin before I get there so I don't get like a little like divot. Oh, let's pull the camera down. Let's see. Meow. we really pulled it down there, didn't we? Okay, so here we are. I'm just stitching down the placket. This is the under placket. And you're looking at the right side of the garment. And when you get down to the bottom here, don't stitch this whole edge. You can be able to go back and do that, but if I'm remembering correctly, that can cause a problem. No, that's fine. That's fine. You can stitch it all the way down if you want. There's one placket we do where if you do that, you can't maneuver it. So I'm just gonna put that out of the way. All right, so there we go. I think I'm gonna stitch the edge. I think that would look really nice. So I'm gonna stitch the edge. We're gonna just put that stitch length a little bit back up. Only because I want it. I want it to be nice and crisp, less ironing. And we'll just go off the edge just like that. It's okay. Could have done a better job. All right, so here we are to our problem thing here. So I mean, if I enclose that and then we pull it over, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. I'm gonna just unpick it. I don't know why, I just feel like I have to unpick just the bottom where we stitched and I said, don't go past this point. I think you can leave it, but I want to see what's going on in there first. So I'm just gonna unpick it a little bit. Makes me feel better. There we go. That lays a little nicer too. Okay, so if we do this like that, it's very much shy. You have to pull this over like that when you do this bottom part down here. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see. Let me pull it back up. The pattern's not quite right. I can hear my neighbors laughing in there. She must have some sort of like monthly, like in-person group. They have a lot of fun. Okay. Sorry, I'm using the zoom because if I pull down the camera, it goes right in front of my face. Okay. All right, so right down here, I unstitched right here, right? So just, you can probably leave it. It's fine. I'm a weirdo, okay? All right, so now here's where we're at, right? You have this extra, and this whole extra thing here is for your decorative piece down here. But you can see it's very narrow. It's very narrow. This is all right, so I'll just pretend like we've sewn it, and I'll show you where we're at, and I'll try and remember. Let me think about how to easily fix your pattern piece. I'm hoping I'm wrong still. All right, so we've sewn our placket, right? And we get down here, and this is when it's hanging naturally, it's not gonna reach the other side, right? You need this to cover the placket, right? Because when you button it up so that the edges meet just like that, right? So if we do that, what happens down here is you have all this extra right here. This is so much fabric right here to be able to tuck into here. I don't even know why this is so wide. This is how wide it's supposed to be. So you see how wide this is right here? That would be great if this was actually this wide and we were stitching it down like that, but we're not. The fold line is not there. So what you could do to make this so much easier is, look, let's pretend like we folded it where we want it, right here, right? So what are we shy? That's what we're shy, okay? Try and make this so that when you're looking at problems and you're sewing, you can figure out like what you need to add to the pattern, and it's very, very literal, right? All right, so let's pretend like this actually folds and covers up this other placket over here, right? Which is what we needed to do. That's how much we're short from that stitch dead to here. And remember, I only folded back 1/8 of an inch. So if you wanted to fold this back 1/4 of an inch, you need 1/8 of an inch, plus you need that right there, and it's almost 1/4 of an inch. So if you really wanted to make sure you had enough room, I would add 3/8 of an inch to this long edge right here. Just add 3/8 of an inch parallel to that long edge. That's the easiest thing to do. And you'll be able to cover up your whole placket. And let's see, how am I gonna pull this off? Because see, that's what is happening right now. That's what we're, I mean, you could probably do more than 3/8 of an inch, to be honest. It's more like, ugh, look at that. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Because if I just sew it down like this, I have to pull this over to meet that, right? I can ease it in. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. All right, I'm just gonna try it. I recommend adding to the edge. There's a my seam allowance. Well, it's not really a seam allowance here because it's a box that you cut, right? Like it's a flat piece. If I would have sewn on this line over here, like you could, you know, do a smaller box, right? You know, and sew inside of it, but the box is the box. Like it's not really a seam allowance. Yeah, you mean like just seam the edge there? Yeah, you could. You could seam it, you know, like you could, I could cut it, like add seam allowance to this fold going here, cut it along that edge, and then add a piece of fabric there. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about, Mary. In my experience, I don't recommend doing that if you're at this point right now, because sewing this box again, I think you could do it. Depends on your fabric. If you're doing a rayon or a linen, be really careful. Steam it, get it back tight and you know, looking as flat as possible. This fairly tightly woven cotton, I could take it out. I used really small stitches though, and I top stitched it right here. So yeah, like right now, the seam could work. I just feel like it might look wavy. There's a chance that this got fixed maybe when they, after they printed the pattern. So if you have the printed, maybe we could check the errata on the site. Errata. Let me see if it's, oops, sorry. What's this? A Maison Fauve patterns. Let's see if there's some errata. It's always a good idea if you get printed patterns to check. PDFs are going to be updated. But I don't know. This is French to English, so that word does not come up. So yeah, I'm not sure. Can I check the measurements of my paper pattern? I mean, it was literally laying on there, remember? Like it was laying on there when I marked the box. It's not me. Like fold the paper and see if it works. I mean, here is this. That's not the fold line, right? Here's the under-placket. I'm assuming it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can't really do anything bigger, right? So if I do that, it's so weird. It looks like it does work. I don't know though. I didn't. Wow. Let's see here. See, here's my pattern piece. It's not enough. That's the hole. So if it comes from there, oops, I'm like turned around on this pattern piece here. Oh, well, that's because I'm making it work. That's why this is working. If I fold it like this, right, I can get it to cover that whole thing, but look, that means the seam line's over here. It's like in a different spot. So yeah, it's not quite right. Yeah, this is how it is, yeah. It's, you know what it is? It's too precise. It's too precise. That's the problem. We're gonna make it work. No, I don't think the interfacing shrank it because I had the pattern piece on it right afterward. You say erratum? Thank you. I left it up thinking maybe someone would say, I just need to add an M to the end. Okay. Oh, can I say enter? Copy. I think that it's not going to come up though. No results were found. All right, we're just going to do it. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. All right. If it shrank it, it really did not shrink it that much. Autocorrect's getting the best of you. All right, we got this. See, what I don't get is why most of the placket is under here. Like all of this could be just cut away. And I need to get this under here and under here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Like that. See, because this right here has to wrap around the thickness of this under placket right here. I think that's part of the issue. We're gonna make it work. Because I am a wizard. All right, I'm gonna kind of encourage this to fold parallel like these edges, because see how it wants to collapse like that? So we're just gonna encourage it to sew a little nicer, be a little nicer. In fact, actually what we'll do is we'll fold up this edge first. Let's see if we get a nicer way to finish it. You want these raw edges to kind of stay stacked on top of each other when they're folding, and then that way they won't sneak out as bad. See how they're sneaking out down here? I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna have to try and get this guy under here like this. Let's get this nice and straight. Oh, hey, you know how we were talking recently about padding dress forms? And have any of you bought a kit? I kind of want to get one just for different fit issues, you know? All right, so this is what I've got going on here. I've pinned this, and I have to get this to go under there. That's where my problem is, okay? I know you're all thinking still this is my error. I know it. All right, so where I want this to clean finish is right here. So I'm just marking the bottom of my opening right there. See, there's the bottom of the opening. That way I know when I go across it, that's where I need to go. Let's look at the other side. Okay. See, we're gonna get this little tuck right there. Sure you do. No, I'm just teasing. All right, I'm just gonna leave it like this. It's looking a little hot messy, but I think with my awl and my magic wand, we get down here, we're gonna make this look good. So I'm gonna pull this part away, this placket away. Let me pull down the camera again. seriously been jinxing myself with proclamations like, such a quick sew. If you extend your pattern piece, like I was saying, and you end up not needing it, no biggie. You just fold it under more, that's all. Gonna hold this down so I don't get any blumping. I'm not, oh, it's actually looking okay. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like my needle is pretty far to the, away from the folded edge there, but it actually looks okay, you know? All right, so got a few too many things over here. All right, so we're gonna come down. And I'm just sewing straight down. I'm gonna have to take that pin out so I can get past it. I don't want this to look wiggly, you know? So I'm making sure these little folded under edges are getting caught underneath. All right, I'm gonna pin my placket shut above where I'm sewing now over here. I don't know if you can see. I'm just pinning it shut, matching up that edge, which I really wish was, you know what? Ooh, I kind of want to edge stitch the edge of my placket before I stitch it down the rest of the way. I'm just going to stitch a little bit so my back stitch isn't right there. I'm going to fold this little edge under. Pull this down a little bit like that. And I'm going to hide my back stitch right here. And I'm going to edge stitch my placket because I want to. You don't have to do that. Because see how soft it is? It's kind of thick. So we're just going to edge stitch it. Also less ironing. Would have been better for me to do this before I folded it up too. All right. What? Wait, what? Uh-oh. Yeah, exactly, Shim. If you have a thicker fabric, it'd be pretty tough. I'm not a straight stitch, but would you normally use a straight stitch foot if you were using a home sewing machine? What are your, hi Ray, how's it going? As opposed to what, do you have some options that allow you more like purchase on the material? Is that what you're thinking? I say use what you like. Absolutely use whatever feels like gives you the most control. So, yeah, don't just do what I'm doing, for sure. I don't have very many options with the industrial. Well, there's an infinite number of feet. They're not all available to me, and they're also so like niche, you know. All right, so I'm just picking up where I left off there with that back stitch, and so here's my little trouble spot. So let me get rid of this little thread because that's where I removed that stitching that I probably didn't need to remove. And I'm just going to tuck it in there. So it's all working. It's just a little narrow, you know. And where did I say my opening ends? Right here. Okay, right here. All right, make sure your opening is nice and lined up. But see right here, this is good that I did unpick it because now I can kind of shove it in there. And now we're gonna go across and enclose it all, and we did it. Time for some sangria. Although my folded edges under here do not look the greatest. What do we want this to look like? Do we want an X? I'm gonna go across like a parallel line right here. And now I'm gonna do an X. I'm gonna go across the bottom again just so I can just finish the X that way. Like that. I have a little bit of a tucky tuck thing going there. That kind of annoys me, that little tuck right there. But I feel like that could be the least of what could have happened. So there we go. Whew. Sweating bullets. Let's see. Look at all these back stitches back here. The hardest part is done. And I really made that hard for you guys, sorry. Maybe you're just like, I don't know what you're talking about, that was really easy. I really worried about it though. That is the biggest danger when your placket won't meet the other side, because it's like the one thing you just can't fake. You can't add fabric where there's no fabric, especially when you've cut into the fabric, made a hole. So just if it does look like it allows you to get in way closer with your stabber. My stabber. Hi, Miranda. Are you guys talking about appliances? All of our appliances need to be replaced right now, all of them. But we did just buy a new little upright freezer. And we've had our other one for more than 10 years, probably 12 years. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Like this is fine with me, you know, like it looks pretty good. The pattern was accurate. It just was there was no room for error. So if you're using a fabric like a linen or a hemp or anything like a viscous linen noil, anything like really yummy and drapey, that's kind of a looser weave, you might, you might have some troubles. I think I got off really easy because I have this really stable cotton. So if you're doing something like tighter woven, you might not have to do any changes at all. So yeah, so we got this little upright freezer. All we've done is the front today. And all it is drawers. Do you guys want to see it? I took a picture of it. Why is there an issue with my store's domain name? Don't tell me things like that. I hate dealing with website crap. All right. I'm going to show you a picture of my freezer just so you can appreciate. Oh, shoot. Did I delete it? I may have deleted it. Oh, no. Okay. Here, look. So it's top to bottom drawers. I have a treat drawer, a bread drawer, a frozen lunch drawer, a meat drawer, a veggie and fruit drawer, and another veggie and fruit drawer. Isn't that cool? And if you don't want to use the drawers, they're just shelves. They're like perfectly flat shelves. So, all right, let's do the yoke. I just kind of want to sit here and sew this all day, but then what would I do on Saturday? We'll do gift bags. Okay, here we go. Here's our little back here. Let's make our stitch length a little bit longer. So we're going to do some gathers across the top of the back yoke. Yeah, it's not very big. Like, it's not massive. It's I think 24 inches wide. It's like the size of me. Yeah, our chest freezer was a hot mess, like a cold mess, honestly. And we were really organized about it, and there's just no two ways about it. I had actually put a 3-tiered filing organizing thing on wheels one day. It was like this cheesy little wireframe thing. I just picked that thing up and put it in the freezer so we'd have some shelves in there, because all we had was this like hanging basket. And that helped a lot, but it was really hard still. So gift bags. You are all about these gift bags, Shim. I'm glad you're sharing my plight. All right, so let's put some gathers across the back here. You could even make these into tucks like I just did with that camp shirt, sleeveless camp shirt. Oh, I did that in the Zoom for the summer camp so long. So that wasn't live on YouTube. But yeah, I put some, it's right here somewhere. It turned out great. I'm really happy with it. Today, before the stream, I was making changes to the pattern of the things I would do to improve it. I'm excited. I'm gonna make another one. 3/8 inch seams. Yeah. Put the stitch length back. Wait. I didn't make a sandwich. I don't see. Did Tammy say hi? I didn't see her say hi. Hi, Tammy. Oh, a new subscriber. Welcome. Thanks, Julie. I miss getting the alert sound so that I see it happen. You like having more sewing? Well, we could always do something else too. A new subby. Making my yoke sandwich here. I have so many conflicts at the end of the month with the guild and the stream right now that I'm gonna have to have a little chat with y'all. I really thought everything was clear when I said yes to some things, and now I'm like, oh, how did I miss that? Okay, it's not quite matching, so I was gonna gather it up a little bit. There are little notches, so just gather it up so that you meet your notches. I gave myself this little center notch so then I can keep the gathers kind of evenly distributed. Okay, put my gathering stitch into the seam allowance. Still didn't quite make it. All right, let's go iron this. And give that under yoke a little tug. Why are you getting hung up on my thing right now? Oh, look, we have some blumping. Serious blumping. The tug was not enough. Oops. Jeez Louise. I have this this thing. It's like all of a sudden grabbing my iron holder. Check it again. I'm going to call this one the right side right here. Okay. Top stitch our yoke, and then we'll attach to the front. Oh, we need a label. All right. What do we need? This one matches so nice, but it's not really a dress, is it? I think I put the party dress in something kind of funny. I think we should do a yoke one. I'm really into my knit print right now. It just looks so good on everything. This one maybe with some flowers like that, or like this. Oh wait, what's this right here? I apparently don't make a lot of things with love because I haven't used any of those. Oh, what about cutie? Let's do cutie. That works. We'll do that and knit print. Yeah. There's no collar on this. It just has neck binding. Is this the... I'm losing the track of what I've decided is the right and wrong side. All right, so let's center this here. There's really, like, not much seam allowance on this puppy. Sheesh. I'm gonna barely be able to keep that straight. Wish me luck. I want to glue it on there. Okay, that works. And you. Whew. Okay, let's do it. Let's start along the bottom. I am very proud of myself for remembering my label before you guys this time. Hey Aisha, how's it going? You missed the sewing drama. That works. Cutie. All right. Now we know the right and the wrong side, right? Okay. Put this right sides together. Make sure all of our tucks are pointing the right way. I didn't really need the overlocker today. Overlocker. What do you guys call it? Overlock or serge? Overlocker or serger? What do you guys call it? You guys were so funny during that poll I put in the guild about, like, you could get rid of all your fitting issues, but you have to pick one of the following. I can't believe I picked the fork. I think it's because I didn't think of the tail till almost last. And then I was like, oh, a tail. I've always wanted a tail. And so in my head, I was like, which one would I pick? And I was like, the fork. The fork sounds really useful. I think one other person picked the fork. I can't believe any of you picked the peacock tail. Overlock or serger? Yeah, it's probably like 50-50, huh? All right, let's do the other side. serger, overlocker, overlocker, serger. It's sort of like going from the shoulder end, but I found it really doesn't make a difference. No, I don't think it's regional. I thought it was too. Maybe. But I think that we've all been tainted. I mean, because I call it both. So maybe at one point it was more or the other. More of the other. Did I make sense? Was that a sense? All right, let's iron the shoulders here. Okay. How about we end with binding the neck today? I mean, unless you want me to just keep going. I have to do one thing this afternoon and I'm not looking forward to it. Oh, really, Sue? Okay, so it's overlocker there. That's funny. Let's do the... I think the binding's at the end. What do you guys vote for? So, oh, let me top stitch my shoulders. So, I could keep going and finish the whole blouse. All we have are sleeves and side seams and hems, neck binding. That's it. And because I think I'm pretty much not able to do French seams, that means I'm using the overlocker or the serger. Now I'm like, where am I from? And it'll go really quickly. Keep going. Let's at least get some binding today. We're going through withdrawals, visible binding, all to the inside. Think it's visible. Oh shoot, Sydney. That's funny. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's visible because it's pretty wide. Here's the piece. Okay, keep going. Okay. Yeah, usually I'm just too hungry or it's too hot. Honestly, it's not hot in here lately. It's been great. So I can go for a long time. But yeah, this is visible. And then we just have the sleeves, which I picked the short sleeves, which is pretty easy. Okay, so yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start from the inside. This is different from the instructions. They have you start from the right side. So I'm just gonna, this binding looks really wide. I might trim it down, we'll see. I'm gonna hang it off the edge here. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's get these threads out of the, so it looks nice like that. Okay. We're gonna hang it off the edge, but we're gonna wrap it around like this. Do that. So wrap it around the edge. And the other thing we wanna do, because I have a flat bed, I'm gonna lift up my shirt. You see how here's my neck opening, right? I'll lift up the shirt. I'm gonna flop it over like that, okay? All right, and now we're going to attach this. I am going to trust that this binding fits. Let me walk it. I did not, usually I just have like, you know, an unlimited roll binding, but I cut their pattern piece. Okay, we're fine. All right, so I'm gonna gently pull on it. When you are finishing the edge like this, if it's a facing that goes to the inside, so the binding is not visible on the outside when you're wearing it, don't pull the binding when you're attaching it like I'm about to, because you need to have it as relaxed as possible because it has a lot more work to do and it's a lot harder to do that one. When it's on the edge though, gently pull it a little bit, just a little tug as you attach it. This is kind of a wide seam, but it's not that too wide, right? So we're just keeping it on the seam line and just gently pulling it. If you want to put a label at the neck, now is the time you want to add that. But yeah, now's the time you want to do that. No buts. I was confusing myself there. TikTok cinnamon rolls. TikTok like the app or TikTok? Oh, not Tic Tac, but TikTok. Got it. Does anyone here like hot tamales? The candy hot tamales, the little cinnamon things. I need to find a person here that's, okay, I'm not eating them right now. I just want to clarify. But I saw them at the store the other day. And I was like, they were on sale. Everybody was out of town but me. And I was kind of like, I'm going to treat myself. And I was like, don't buy the hot tamales, Saremy. Just don't buy those. I swear they're addictive. Like, I swear there's an ingredient in them that makes them addictive. And I have to know that I'm not crazy about this. There's some really terrible ingredients in them, by the way, like the dyes and things. Chubby, but no, really? Oh my God, that would be so painful. Because, you know, most of them are like, they're not spicy. And then you get that one and you're like, oh my God, I gotta get this out of my mouth, you know? All right, so here we're at the beginning, okay? And now we're going to, I'm gonna trim this edge off like within, so let me show you. I'm just gonna trim it so that I have about 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch hanging off the edge there. So I just don't want all that bulk, so I'm trimming that off, right? And now we're gonna do the same thing as we did when we started. We're gonna wrap it around like this. If anything short, make the binding a little shorter. See how mine's lifting up a little bit? Rather than being sloppy and letting it wrap around kind of sloppily, you make it really tight when you wrap it around. I'm really good at this because I did this for a long time, so. All right, now don't do anything until you check your placket. You'll thank me for this later. Check your placket right now and make sure that your seams stack up. And you can tell this seam on this side is a little bit higher here. Make sure, be really honest about it. Oh, that's actually better than I thought. Okay, we're gonna leave it. You want to adjust it. Don't just take a bigger seam allowance. You have to remove the stitching right there and lower it or raise it, because if you take a bigger seam allowance, oh, actually, yeah, if you take a bigger seam allowance, your binding will get too narrow. So I'm talking a different language now. You don't know. Do you have like a spicy cinnamon candy in the UK, Julie? We have one called hot tamales. And oh my gosh, they're so addictive. I got on such an addiction thing of them last summer. I'm sure that did not help my weight, you know, like that. Like, I enjoyed every one of those hot tamales though. Okay, this is hard for me to clip. All right, we're going to clip the curve. You actually don't need to clip the curve. I don't know why I'm doing that. You don't need to clip the curve. We're folding this to the inside around the seam allowance. I'm sorry, you don't need to clip the edge. If you were doing this as a facing, you would have to, because the seam allowance needs to fold back on itself like this. But we're not. It's going to stick straight up. All right, so we're going to pull up our binding, right? And now we're on the right side. Oh, I still don't really like the way this finishes. How can we make this so that it finishes nicer? I was doing my typical thing where usually I go like this. I fold it down and I fold it and I fold it and I get this. But we're on the right side, so I don't really want that. Anise seed balls? That sounds like licorice though, like anise flavor. All right, so I'm just gonna fold like this. And I'm just kind of keeping it all equal amounts, right? It's really wide. We'll use the awl. What's that noise out there? Do you guys hear that? What if it was like a drone? It sounds like something's flying out there. Oh, and just pull the fold just past your original seam. All right, and so let's get this oriented here. I got it kind of messy here. So we want the right side of the garment facing up, like this. This is the right side. And I just use the awl to make sure that that folded edge stays just past the seam so we cover it up, right? And I'm just, basically the width of this binding is kind of perfect for the width of the seam allowance. So I'm glad I just trusted the pattern. And then if you use the same seam allowance as you do the width of the binding, you won't get any like uneven, you know, edges here. It'll be nice and flat, right? Which is kind of nice. Try not to torque this. Because we gently tugged it, it's gonna want to do this now. It's gonna wanna lay down flat. I knew I ran out of binding, or I mean bobbin. Camera froze. What camera froze? What camera froze? My machine camera? Are you sure? Oh, okay. I was like, it's not frozen for me. Maybe it was an internet hiccup. You don't like starting on the wrong side? You crazy. Huh, weird. I mean, that happens, but usually only when I'm touching the cord. Maybe it was some sort of like upload thing. All right, here we go. That looked a little torquey right there. I noticed it. This is the neckline. Yep. This would be a really cute sleeveless top, but I would definitely do a sample because the armhole's pretty low and loose. It's a loose top. So if you want to do a sleeveless, I would just check the armhole first. Yeah, it's understandable, Sydney. I'll get a little bit, but it's binding, so. Binding is what binding does, right? Just tucking that little raw end in there. I don't want it to go past the edge here, so I'm kind of forcing it to stay there. Like that. Yeah, this is a nice width because the whole thing is perfectly flat. I have a little torquing going on. Let's check it out. Let's see how it is. See, wait. I think I just turned that the wrong way. Ooh, so pretty. Can't you see this as a little, oh, I have a lot of torquing right there. Maybe when this washes up, it'll be a little better. You're gonna get a little bit because it's so wide, so. But this would be really cute sleeveless, wouldn't it? Oh, really, Sydney? That's funny. Word thinks my name should be Smarmy. All right. I'm gonna do my side seams. Been a while since you saw me just do a side seam, right? Like no French seam. Do this one. Now we're flying. Letting that dart lay flat there. Don't force those edges to line up. If your dart's nice and flat when you've ironed it and you have that little bit hanging off, leave it hanging off. Don't pull it to the side seam, because what it'll do is it'll make your dart do something funky. It'll kind of like push it out underneath, or if you're stretching it, the edge, like if this little edge doesn't quite meet your raw edges, it's like falling here. Don't pull it over, because what it'll do is it'll pull your dart, like that seam allowance of your dart. So, okay, so now we need to overlock this. Realized the last second I was going to whack my camera. Oh, really, Sydney? That's cool, though. Was it for a special occasion? Or was this the two-piece outfit you were making? Now my camera might freeze when I move it like this. Yep, it always does. It's okay, we'll get it set up. How do we do this usually? Maybe I should just get it hooked back up and I'll be able to see. Oh yeah, it was the two-piece outfit. Hanging with friends, that sounds great. Oh, okay, we're fine. Yeah, anytime I move the camera, the machine camera will move. I mean, anytime I move the machine camera, the camera will freeze. It's the cord. There's something up with that cord. I bought a new camera and my computer can't handle it. So that was really disappointing, because I got you guys a really nice camera. It's a face cam, but I got it for the overhead, so it looks really nice. And now, yeah, my graphics card won't support it. So, yeah, no. Let's see here. Maybe I just have nothing else like this, but maybe the light gray. That's what I'll do. I'll do this light gray. And I'm gonna do it on this cone right here. That way I don't have to unthread my machine, my sewing machine, so that we can sew the sleeve on right after this. Got to pull 2 through now though, and I have to thread 1 needle. I felt you grab. Oh, okay. Okay. Sounds like your bar hopping grew up or something. This one. It happens. I'm pretty sure this gray thread will be that one in the middle. Yeah, so see, there's the gray thread. It's that one going down the middle. Inconsequential. All right. Let's overlock the seams. Ooh, it likes this fabric. So there's that gray stripe going down the middle. Oh no. That's funny, Terry. Was it the bra kit? I should have got us all pumped up, so we're all gonna make bras. All right. Let's set the sleeve on. Not quite the overhead. A lot of people record their video like this though. I want to loose this bobbin. Oh, I need to do my underarm seams first. I should have done those. I knew there was something I could do on the sleeves. All right, so we're gonna do a left and a right. So when the fabric is the same, I just peel them back like this. That way I know I got a left and a right. Oh, okay, cool. I feel like you and I have the same kind of timeline, Terry. Like you and I are both simultaneously impetuous, and we will start something on a dime, but we'll also gear up to it. What's the scam? Oh, those delayed shipping. Sorry, I don't have this camera very well set up for. This is the problem, like this. Sorry, there's my ceiling. I think that'll be better. Yeah. Okay. And I like my overlock to, well, actually, I'm going to put the nice side on the back side of the sleeve since I always flip my seam allowances. Offset them. All right. Now let's set them in. So we're going to put a easing stitch on here. Make sure. I've had this really small stitch length, but it's not like that right now. Is there shipping emails, Cams? That makes sense. I'm so fishy, or like suspicious. I'm not fishy. I get so many emails asking for like collaborations and affiliate stuff, and they are so ridiculous. Like, my chat does not want me to start selling fish aquariums, you know? So I don't even open them or read them. And I remember one time the way it was written, I was just being funny, and I was like, I said something like, well, just only if you were a real person. And they wrote back, they're like, I am a real person. I was like, oh, my bad. I was like, well, here's a hint. Your thing looks very scammy. And I normally don't even open these. And we chatted a little bit back and forth. They were like, oh, okay, you know. Yeah, so many people get yeah, I think like if anyone's asking for a lot of money, I'm going to wait until it's the last possible, like past the due date. And then if someone says, hey, you didn't pay that, and I get in trouble, then I'm like, oh, it wasn't a scam, you know. All right, there we have our easing stitch in here. All right, we're going to turn the sleeves right side out. I just get everything going here. Right side out. And then our garment is going to be inside out. And I have my front right here. I feel like we could do this better. Like that, maybe? Oh, think of the possibilities, Julie. Like that. Is that a little better? Not really. All right, so here's my front of my garment. And so then I just pick the right side sleeve out that has the front on the left. This used to drive me crazy. Do you ever do this where you're putting sleeves in and you're like, oh, I thought I had the correct sleeve, you know, and then you don't. So that's how I make it really easy. I just turn the garment. You don't see me do this very often because of the French seams. I'm talking a lot about the French seaming, right? So garment is inside out. My front on this particular armhole is on my left side. I turned both my sleeves right side out, and I just find the one that the front is on my left side, and then I stick it in here. And on my left side, meaning like this, where the cap is at the bottom, just like this, the cap, underarm, right? Oh, nice, Terry. Okay, and then I'm offsetting my seam allowance there because of bulk, you know. And I'm going to use 2 pins, one here and one here at the cap. Actually, I'm not sure where this, I think it goes here. I ended up putting notches on here that made sense to me because I didn't ever look at the directions to see what they intended, so you could just follow what they tell you to do. Right, Terry? Yeah, that's kind of the worst. The funny thing is, the sleeves look so symmetrical, it's really easy to go, you know, it'll be fine. And you actually do notice it. All right, and so then I know I have it drawn up enough where I just kind of look at it like this, right? I'm like, okay, the sleeve is fitting in there when I do that. This side right here looks a little looser, so just check it. But that looks pretty good. And then I start sewing and I adjust as I go. I don't set the sleeve in with the serger. That is just, I mean, you can. I've done that. Like, I used to do that. It's so fiddly, you know, and it's kind of risky. because you're doing this curved part of the garment. The garment can sneak under the blade so easily. I do it in 2 steps. I attach it and then I overlock it. I just put my needle right next to that easing stitch. I have a video dedicated to putting in a set-in sleeve and a French seam one if you are interested in that kind of thing. There's a lot of ease in this sleeve, baby. Oh my goodness. Can I do it? Can I do it? It's going to be really close. Let's get my awl. Pull this side a little bit more. I get the shirt was folding underneath. Get rid of that pin now. I can tell that's going to make a tuck, so I was just trying to fiddle with it. I have a lot of ease in this sleeve. I thought I was shy 1/4 inch, but maybe not. I could slash down the center of the sleeve and overlap it a little to get rid of a tiny bit if I want. There we go. So now if you get a tuck, I'm sure I have a couple. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. It's okay if you have little puckers sometimes. Those aren't necessarily tucks. Oh, I didn't get a tuck, sorry. All right, but if you have a tuck, don't panic, okay? Don't start seam ripping either. When you look at it on this side, right, most likely your little tuck is happening between where the needle went in the fabric on either side. As long as you didn't pierce the tuck with the needle, which is you probably didn't do, you can sit here and just scratch it, just like this, just scratch it. And just kind of let it relax a little bit, because basically when you think about like the needle, you know, the needle going in on either side, right, there's your stitch, right, and you have your thread here. The fabric's just folded in there. So if you just scratch it and kind of get it to spread out a little bit and lay flat, it'll be no tuck. So don't panic for yet. If you have to take it out, you take it out a little bit. It's okay. All right, and so now we know this sleeve goes in here, and I push my body seam allowance towards the back and my sleeve towards the front. I pin here. I pin the notch at the top to the shoulder seam. I check the gathers. I could probably use a little more. Wait, what? If you lick it? Yeah, you're just like steaming it with your mouth. Michelle, that wins today. Just lick it. I want to know what brought on that. Really, Mary? Oh my goodness! See, Michelle, you're a sewing savant. I love it. The only time I lick things is when I have a stain, when I don't have any water nearby. That's hilarious. I probably will not forget that tip. It has shock value. It has, what's the word? I want one word for this. I'm pulling my little gathering stitch. I should actually leave it to the right side, but it's okay. We're gonna pull it out before we do the serging. It has shock value. It has an unhygienic component. And it's useful. pull some of these down here a little bit. I lift up the presser foot to kind of relax it a little bit. You know, your presser foot kind of pushes it. All right, this is my troubling side. Mated love and saliva instead of blood. People are like, wait, you mean tears, right? You're like, nope, I mean spit. How have you not told us that before, Michelle? Keeping the real secrets. Think of the parents out there trying to like get a little sewing time in while not neglecting their kids when they could be making their kids a part of the process and be like, can you just lick this for me? Mommy, do you need me to lick anything today? All right, let's check it out. Okay, looks good. All right, let's pull the gathering thread and get rid of it. I thought you weren't common. Spit splicing, that's true. I never got that to work very good though, to be honest. I'm just taking out my easing stitch because I enjoy it. That's the only reason I'm taking it out. I enjoy taking it out. And then let's get rid of the other side. My thumb's starting to really bug me right now. Okay, take out this one. I am the furthest thing from a germaphobe too. Like, my daughter was like, do we have like better soap that's like more antibacterial? And I was all, nope. She doesn't like foam soap. And we make our own foam soap. You know, it's so easy to do that I just make it. And that means it's like watered down soap. I was not the one who wanted to use foam soap in our house. I liked bar soap. But, you know, they kept buying that. And I didn't want to buy plastic containers anymore. My presser foot is stuck under the frame of my industrial. And I don't want it to, here we go, okay. So I started making it. I looked up a recipe and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been paying money for this. It's literally like 1/4 soap and 3/4 water. You have to have a foaming soap dispenser. So, you know, we have the Method ones and we just reuse them. We've been using the same Method dispensers for 4 years now. They're not the highest quality dispenser either. I do have a nice one, a glass one, but I don't put that in the shower, you know, so that's on the like bathroom sink. But yeah, you just put like this much soap and like this much water. It's very easy to do. If you get Dr. Bronner's, I have a feeling that the recipe is on their bottle. I had looked it up and then someone said, oh, it's right there on the bottle. I was like, oh, like my husband. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So. Your presser foot got stuck under my desk the other day. You just kept saying, oh, yeah, exactly. Your foot pedal? Yeah. Oh, from Grove? Okay, good to know. Oh, shoot. I got my little seam allowance turned back there. That annoys me, of course, right? I'm going to just take out a few stitches right here and flatten it out. Because this is literally, all we have left is the hem, so we're pretty much done. There we go. I say presser foot for the foot pedal all the time. Never been able to break myself with that either. Redo my... No, I don't want to rethread this, please. There we go. The lightweight thread, man, it just doesn't stay in there. Okay, there we go. Now we can overlock it. I'm not convinced I don't have a few tucks. It looks like it, doesn't it? Look at all those. Okay. We're moving the camera again, sorry. Oh man, as soon as I touched it. Who's faster than me at doing this now? All right. Okay, so I'm going to secure my serger tail here in the seam allowance. Just get rid of the extra, like that. I don't even see that little gray. See it? I hardly see it, like when I'm looking at it in person. So that's good. Not that anyone's gonna see the inside, right? If they're looking, then come on. I really just secure these because then it makes me feel good about cutting it really short. All right, this feels really voluminous and billowy. It's cute though, it's really cute. So let's do the hem. I feel like the hem might be too long, but we'll just hem it. I can always change that later. And this is gonna live at Hearts Fabric for a little while. So if you're in Santa Cruz or visiting, you can check it out and try it on, you know? So I'm just going to, I just heard my phone. I thought I turned it off. That's weird. All right, so I'm gonna just do 3/8, 3/8 turn. Since it's a slightly, like gentle curve, I just try and keep it kind of narrow. That way it can kind of utilize some of the bias that's in the hem, you know, and then it will help lay flat even though it's got those curves. But sometimes make it a little hard to hem, you know, like on shirt tails, right? My sleeve might be a little longer than the one that they show in the pictures, because when I raised up my armhole, that lengthens the side seam, and then I lengthened the cap a little bit. So really all the length that I added will have been about the amount of the cap height. The underarm, I just like filled it in up there, right? I didn't really lengthen the sleeve except for the cap height. Let's get that little thread in there. Ooh, I stitched that kind of messy. Some of these really long ones I like to cut off. I didn't think I'd finish today, so I wore a dress. I'll have to try it on the dress form though. Ow, my thumb. Ay, ay, ay. Sorry. I know I turned my phone off. It's weird. Oh yeah, that grippy thing's really great. For carpet or like for a hard floor, you can tape it to the floor like with Velcro, like they give you little things. And if it's carpet, there's little spikes in it that kind of grab the carpet. It works really good. But under my machine, it's a little different. I used to put it here, but I need two. It's probably more important under my machine because I have my machine on top of vibration absorbers. And so it raises the metal frame of my base of my machine up. And it's the perfect height for the top, the widest part of the presser, the foot pedal to get stuck under there. All right, as far as the sleeve goes, do I want to do the same kind of hem? I find when you fill the hem with the fabric, it needs less ironing, you know? Are those things very affordable? Because I bought mine like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I'm still using it. I got a cute new fabric from Hearts the other day, and it kind of inspired me and makes, I might do my sleeveless camp shirt without the collar, but maybe figure out a way to do some insets with it. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, it's kind of like the least sexiest thing you could buy for sewing, right? You know, you're at the sewing store and you're like, I really want to buy something. You don't think of that. All right, last hem. I'm really glad the placket worked out. I'm kind of surprised because it just didn't look like it was going to. All right. I'm gonna give it a little press, and we'll put it on the dress form. It's looking so cute. This comes in a long sleeve length and a dress length. I have a lot of torquing in my binding. I'm kind of surprised. I think it's because it's so wide. You know? No amount of ironing is going to get rid of it. But we can fake it for a little bit. This fabric holds onto threads, man. I can't wait to try this on. I can't wait to wear it with my crop jacket. It's gonna be so cute. I may have them send me a picture because I can't wait to see how cute it looks. All right, I could probably iron this a little bit better if I put it on the end of my ironing board right here. So I'm not sure that's on the camera enough though. Just gonna do a little bit up into these gathers. And should we do a little sleeve ironing? I'm gonna leave it. Let's do a little on the front. Anyone thinking of making this? I'm kind of curious. Yes, Michelle. It's the hearts. Pretty sure. Let me double check for you though. Okay. I know the green fabric for the Centra halter top I'm making next, which I could probably do Saturday actually. The yoke's pretty high up. It's really cute. Yeah, the dress looks really cute and comfortable. Could you put a collar on it? Well, you could, but you'd really need to bring in the neckline a little bit. Definitely giving a little bit of maternity vibes on my hip tilts dress form. Oh yeah, Claire. Yeah, they have some really cute patterns. I was looking at their site. I like that dress with the little triangle cutout. It was really cute. And they're one of their, not a halter, but it was like a tanky thing. It's the length of the shirt. It's pretty long, I think. Hangs really nice in the back for me. Yours is probably not gonna, you see how this kicks out? Let's see if I can kind of correct that a little bit. It's probably kicking out because of my body posture. Did I just make it worse? Fitting sitting down never really goes well. So things always look a little maternity on me because of my posture. And you can see the side seam kind of kicks forward, you know, it should be more like that. It might be this company, Nathmi. This is a French company. And I think they have YouTube videos for instruction. It looks really good. And then we have this placket that gets buttons and buttonholes. Yeah, I saw that they do it as like a collection, right? How do you usually make the buttonhole? Sorry, I could, just saw that. How do I usually make the buttonholes? I usually do I have a home sewing machine that I use. My industrial doesn't do those. I'll probably do that on Saturday though. Do the buttons and buttonholes on this. I'm tempted to do it right now so it's done. This looks really nice. This fabric is really nice. It's very soft and supple. It's a little, got a nice kind of a hand to it. Let me see if I can find the fabric info. Ooh. Let's see. She sent me an email. Here we go. Here we go. And it's not here. The shirting is Japanese cotton, linen, chambray, pepper. That's the thing I just made. The rayon is vessel rayon navy. What rayon? I don't think they gave me rayon. I think that this is the Hearts Fine Cotton though. So yeah, really cute. I like the way it sits. I like the way the sleeve and the shoulder, the yoke. I like that yoke seam up high like that. You can have a lot of fun with that, how high it is. Not very pleased with my binding. I'm hoping ironing it'll help. Maybe if I had, I don't know. I think I just would have had to be a little more careful. That's all. It's fine here. A little torquey right here. So if I pulled out this seam all the way to the front and then shifted it toward the front a little bit, you know, like see how the lines are going like this? You want this line is being pulled away from where it wants to sit. So you could, if you pulled it that way, it would correct it. So, yeah. Well, cool. That was fun. We did the whole gosh darn thing. I'm going to try it on afterward, but I don't have pants here. So there's that. Now what are we going to do on Saturday? We're going to sew gift bags and buttons and buttonholes, and we'll just hang out. Something I don't need to prepare for. I have a lot of things going on. So maybe I'll just fix, I have my sleeveless. Maybe I'll fix that. I've kind of, a lot of things right now are fixed. So, oh, and then in a couple weeks, I'm making this halter. It's called the Sintra halter. And this is by Liesel and Co. But I think their website is Oliver and S. And there's also dress versions. Someone told me that they have a tutorial on their site for a shelf bra. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a shelf bra in this. Hearts will be totally fine with that. They'll probably be thrilled I do something like that. So, and this is in this like olive green version of this fabric here. I know that's the Hearts Fine Cotton because they sent me this fabric last year to go with the Pinnacle top by Paper Cut, but they weren't going to continue to carry Paper Cut patterns anymore. So I was like, well, don't just, and they were like, so just make it in your pattern and keep it. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll hold on to it. And so we finally figured out we could do it for this. I think it'll be really cute. So last minute summer make. And we're cutting that one day and sewing the whole thing Saturday. So, and that's the 17th, I think, and the 19th, because the 16th, I'm the guest for the Allison Company 5th anniversary thing on making pockets. So you can check that out if you want to come to that. It's free or by donation because it's a charity event. They have a pattern sale going right now. Oh, yes, they do. These folks, yeah, they do. You're right. And then you can also get 10% off at Hearts. Thanks to Hearts for this. They're going to be like, wait, you're not sewing Saturday? So we'll put the buttons and buttonholes. I hardly ever do those on camera anymore, so we'll do that. That'll be fun. And yeah, sewing circle on Saturday. I'll have to change that thumbnail so people aren't like, wait, where's part 2? So, all right, cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys. I'm really glad this all worked out and this pattern Look at that. You can't even tell down there. It looks really good. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. That was fun. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Same time, same place. Bye.